Hey, my farmer friends, it's Corinna, and I am coming back at you this Monday morning with a short kind of marketing minute makeover moment for you. Hope you guys are doing really well. It's early for me to do these, but I'm happy to be here. Today I'm going to share with you a strategy that we use in our CSA to really take good care of our new CSA members especially. Hey Katie, oh, you like my fridge? I know, right? It's pretty awesome. It's already got smudges on it though. You guys, smudges on the stainless steel. Did not know about that, so warning. Apparently WD-40 though is the way to take care of it. That's what the inside scoop was from the fridge guys. Anyway, so today I wanted to share a tip with you about how to take care of your CSA newbie members and some of the things that we do inside of our CSA to do that really well. And the first thing I want to talk to you about is just why that matters. So your new customers are really green. If you've been doing CSA for a while, sometimes it's kind of easy to fall into what I call the curse of knowledge, where you just sort of forget that there's a whole bunch of new folks coming into the system every year and they don't know the insider language, they don't know the systems and how things work, and they just plop down a whole lot of money. And if they're not getting these good vibes from you in those first few weeks, they can feel really out of the loop. They can feel like they're walking into the middle of a conversation that's been going on for a long time and they don't even know where to start. So what I want to challenge you with today is to really think about here at the beginning of the season. We're starting our CSA this coming week. You may have already begun, but as you begin each new season, I really want you to ask yourself, what am I doing to take really good care of my CSA newbies and rookies? How can I build some mechanisms in place that are going to really serve those people well so that they have an amazing customer experience on the front end, right? You want to bedazzle them. You want to wow them in those first few weeks so they feel really well taken care of. So let me just jump right in and share with you a few things that we're doing this year that help us do this. And some of these things we've been doing for a long time. Some of them are a little bit new. So I'm just going to show this to you. I think it's backwards because of the way I have my camera right now. But this is my checklist, one of my checklists for one of my sites. And it's got a list of all my customers, what they get. But you'll see that over here it's got a little box where it's been colored in green. And that shows the person who's working on at the pickup site. Anybody with a green box is a brand new member this season. And so it's a very visual way for my staff members to say, oh, this person is new. So I'm going to make sure that I have a different introduction to them when I meet them for the first time. I'm going to say something like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you're with us. What are you most excited about this season? What is the thing that you're really looking forward to? What are you really hoping to learn? Some open-ended questions just to kind of start that conversation so that they really feel like, wow, they noticed that I'm new and they want to get to know me. This is also a trigger for the site host to give something away. So I try to actually give a present away to my first-time rookies. And in this case, what I give away is the Debbie Meyer green bag. Now, I don't give them an entire bundle like this. I'll take out, 2 bags. I'll just actually dump all of these bags. I have tons and tons of these, and I dump them all out and put them into a giant box. And then each person who has one of these green marks next to their name will get 2 of these bags. And this is something that I train my members in, the Debbie Meyer green bag. You probably know about these. These suck up ethylene gas and you can store your vegetables in them so that they last for a long time. They're reusable for like 20 times, I think. They're awesome and I love them. So by giving them a little freebie and I explain to them how this is going to help them use our produce, it's just kind of a nice little bonus. And I get a lot of people that say, wow, that was really great. I use those, and then they end up buying them for themselves. But it's always fun to be able to find some kind of a cheap thing that I can give away and add value to them and make them feel extra special. But I love how that's a new thing that we're doing this year, where we have an actual like trigger where we see a color next to the name. And what I'm going to do this year is I'm actually going to keep that color next to their name probably for at least half of the season, so that every week the person, again, who's at the pickup site, who's passing them the box, has some kind of a visual cue to remind them, hey, don't forget, this is a new person to the system. So treat them differently. Just talk to them a little differently. Ask different questions. Don't assume that they're going to know how everything works. They may need a little bit more coaching at the pickup site in terms of how things work. Like, oh, this is the extras line. Let me tell you what that means. I'm not just going to say, shop the extras table. I'm going to explain what the extras table is for a few weeks until they understand the rhythm and how things work. Or I may have to remind these customers, hey, don't forget to go into the membership academy. I uploaded a new video in there about how to make fruit leather with the dehydrator. You know, just talking them through some of these bonus features that are a part of our membership that I just assume everyone else knows, but the newbies, there's a lot of information, right? So we just gotta drip it out and remind them about things like that. So this is kind of a fun thing that I think is gonna work really well. I also use the mug shot. So on the first week of the CSA, whenever somebody has a green thing next to their name, after they get their box, they are coached to go over to a certain table or a certain location of the pickup site where I have one staff member or volunteer staged there just for the first week, and that person has a camera in their hand and one of these. All right, and I tell that new person, I want you to go over there and get your picture taken. We're gonna take your mug shot. So the person walks over, they fill out this whiteboard with their name and their site, okay? And then that gets taken a picture of by the volunteer on my phone or on Kurt's phone. And eventually those photographs will go into our Google Photos, and then I create a shared folder within Google Photos by site of these members, and then I can share that folder with any of my other site host staff members. And my expectation of my site host staff members is you need to memorize these people's names within 2 to 3 weeks. And so that becomes a goal for all of us so that we learn their names. I think I talked about that on the Farmer to Farmer podcast, that I created a mechanism for memorizing names. You guys, let me tell you, this is huge. People notice when I learn their names, and they also notice when I don't. So there are some people, especially at my site, I'm guilty of this. My husband is so good at this, but there are some people at some of my sites that I still struggle with their names, and it's embarrassing when you get to week 16 and you still have to ask them for their name. Like, I just feel embarrassed about that because I kind of talk about how we connect with everyone, right? And so these kinds of tools matter to me because I study them now, because I don't like that feeling of not knowing everyone's name. I have had actual customers say, I am so impressed that you know who I am. And it actually ends up becoming a game. Once you take photos like this and you set that expectation that you're going to learn their name, it becomes a game for them. Like, they show up the next week and they're like, do you know me? Do you know me yet? And you're like, oh, I'm getting there. So, but that is a really great tool. And if you can find a staff member or volunteer just that first week or second week to do this, it goes a long way. And it's just a good way to go back and kind of put a face to a name. And it just helps me as a farmer have a more personal experience. But let me tell you, it helps the customer feel like they're having a more personal experience when you can say their name before they even show up at the table. That's an impressive thing to do. So I also make a point to create some sort of onboarding strategy for my new members. And I've talked about this in another video. I'm not going to go into it now. So look for the video that's all about customer onboarding. But I have an email sequence that where I train in my new members. I drip out content so that they slowly learn the information over the course of a couple of weeks. That orientation sequence has already fired. So all of these new members have technically received that. I'm not sure if they've opened them all, but they have gotten this process. And this season, I've also just opened up this new thing called the Membership Academy. I created an entire online training platform on teachable.com. So all of my videos are stored there, and they're put into a kind of a scope and a sequence so people can go and find videos on every vegetable. They can download all my cheat sheets and ebooks, and it's just really well organized. And I have inside that teachable.com school, I have a mini course called The Roadmap to CSA Success, which I think I've talked about here before, but I actually completed it. It's a short, like a little bit over an hour total of just different videos that I send my rookies to. I say, listen, you have an access to this membership academy. It's for free. Here's how you get in. Now I want you to go in and I want you to watch this course. And so giving them a tool like that, that says, watch these 7 videos in this order. This is going to help you learn. These are the quick wins, the things you need to learn on the front end. And I'm just so excited to see what the response. Actually, I've already gotten a lot of newbies who have said, oh my gosh, this has been so helpful for us. Okay, and the last thing that we do for our newbies is we offer, I'm sure you probably do, some of you probably do this too, we offer an open house, meet and greet farmer kind of event the weekend before or the first weekend of the CSA season. And I feel like that has been huge for us. We didn't always do that. We would sometimes put it in the middle of the season. Now we have it on the front end. We invite anyone from our CSA, but we find that a lot of new members, a greater percentage of the people that come are new members. And I love that because they are able then to meet us in person. They can connect with us. They can walk the fields. They can see the place. And I feel like it helps them get more excited about our product, but also connect with us. And I have actually paid attention to the data on this, but I have found that customers who come out to my physical farm have a higher retention rate. Okay, so if that is indeed true, wouldn't that mean that we should do everything we can to get our customers to come to our farm one time, right? If that increases our retention rate. So I just think that there's something magical that happens when they can come out and see the farmer and see the place where their food grows. So that's another strategy that you can perhaps implement next year if you've already missed that window, is put something on the front end of the season so they can see the fields when they're still nice and clean and everything looks non-weedy. They can see where their food comes from. Okay, so why is all this important? I'm almost done, guys. Why is it important to take care of these new members? So I've shared this with you guys before. Oh shoot, it's backwards. But this is the graph or the map that shows the customer value journey. I did a whole training on this. This is a foundational piece of content for marketing. Customers kind of go through this cycle. They start out unaware. They move through these different phases until they become promoters of you and advocates. And so there are specific things that you can do to make sure they move all the way up into that upper quadrant. But I want you to notice right here in the center, after they convert and they actually become a customer, it's important that we do what's called the excite phase. We do things after they purchase the product to excite them, to get them on board, to get them having quick wins, positive experiences so they don't have buyer's remorse. And the earlier we can do that, the earlier we can have these, oh my gosh, that was amazing service, or that was such a value add I wasn't expecting. When we can surprise and delight them, we hit that excite phase, we hit that trigger in their brain, and it makes them feel really good about their purchase. So I am always trying to think of what can I do to over-deliver to my CSA members, because my CSA members are the lifeblood of my business. And if I take really good care of them and I give them more than they expect, then that service makes them feel connected and they will come back. And I think that's a big reason why our customer retention rate is as high as it is now, because we've really focused on what can we do to serve our CSA members. Now, not all of you have the CSA as your primary model. Some of you are kind of scattered. You have farmers markets and wholesale and restaurants, but 90-95% of our income is the CSA. So it makes sense for us to really, really focus on this strategy, on this system, and do it really, really well. Now, I also want to just remind you, I've talked about this before as well, that people don't sign up for a CSA just to get your vegetables. Okay, that is not that is perhaps the external need that you are meeting, the external pain or problem for your customer that you are meeting. But if you do the research and you interview your customers, I've already heard from some of you guys during my interview process with some of you on the phone and stuff, telephone interviews. But I'm hearing from you guys too that you have found that what really strikes the chord with people, what causes them to sign up for a CSA, is the relationship with the farmer, okay? They want the connection with the farmer. So if that is so, so important, and I feel like that's almost more important than the vegetables, then we need to pay attention to making sure that we connect with them, all right? These are our core customers, investors in our farm. I give them my best. I give them my best product. They get the stuff off the top before things go to the farmer's market. My CSA members get it. They get the best of the best. They get the best before my restaurant accounts. They are my lifeblood. And so I also am always asking myself, what can I do to connect with them? So that's why I've created things like this. I'm like, I need to learn their names. I try to pay attention to what's going on in their lives. I send them little notes. I give them presents on important occasions. I'm just trying to stay in touch with them. And let me tell you, when you do that, when you take care of those new members and you show them that you care, that you're trying to connect with them, that means the world to them. And it will cause your retention rates to rise. But you have to do it, consistently. And I think you have to be, sincere about it. You really have to show that you care about them. And so they'll be able to tell, like their meter is going to go off, right? They'll be able to tell if they're not a priority to you. So this week, I just want to challenge you to think about how can you provide over-the-top service to your CSA members? How can you add value to them and show them, listen, I care about you. I want to get to know you, because that is what they want from you more than anything. So if you can figure out a mechanism so that that happens, their need is going to be met. They're going to have a great experience. Yeah, they're going to get your vegetables, but they're also going to have that other need stroked, and it's going to make it feel even better. And I think you'll find that when it's time to get signups again at the end of the season, to do early bird registrations, that those customers will come back. So, final thought here, your new members are an opportunity for you to shorten that gap of membership retention, right? You want to have higher retention. You want to get more of those people to come back. So this year I have 90 new members, give or take. And so my goal is to try and keep as many of those 90 new members as I can, because that's that much fewer people that I then have to find at the end of the season. So I'm going to really concentrate my efforts this year on taking care of those 90 people, giving them an amazing CSA customer experience, an amazing connection with their farmer. And when I know who they are and I see this little color pattern every week to remind me, it's going to help me know, take care of these people really well. And I will be so grateful at the end of the season when I don't have to work so hard to find new people to replace them. Okay, I hope this was helpful. You guys have a great week, and we'll be back next Monday. Bye.